Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Full Young and the Restless spoilers Fridays, April to 4/20 to 6. Welcome back to our channel, your daily destination for all the juiciest Genoa City updates. Today is a beautiful day to unpack some seriously messy drama, so grab a huge cup of coffee and let's get right into the madness unfolding on our screens. So Jack Abbott is really going through it right now. And honestly, he brought it entirely on himself. But he is trying to fix it, because that is what Jack always does. He messes up and then he throws money at the problem, hoping it just goes away. So we see Diane getting a delivery at her hotel room. And it is a gift bag from Jack, because of course it is. He cannot just leave her alone to process the fact that he slept with Patty Williams. He has to push, he has to try and buy his way back into her good graces. So Diane opens the card. And she reads this incredibly emotional letter from her husband. It is a really nice letter, full of apologies and deep feelings. But that is not all. Because inside the bag there is a ring. A platinum diamond ring. And not just any ring. It is a ring that once belonged to Josephine Baker, which is honestly a massive flex. But also it just shows how out of touch Jack is right now. He really thinks a fancy historical piece of jewelry is going to make Diane forget the ultimate betrayal. And Diane is just looking at this ring. She takes the gift bag and she heads downstairs. Probably to clear her head or maybe to go find Jack and throw it at him. But she does not even make it out of the hotel before disaster strikes. Because she runs right into Patty Williams. Yes, Patty, the woman who just blew up her entire marriage. And you know this is not going to be a friendly chat. They immediately start arguing, because how could they not? Patty is just standing there, looking at Diane. And Patty tells Diane that she knows exactly who she is. Patty says she knows all about Diane, and then Patty drops a massive emotional bomb. She looks right at Diane and says, "It was you who slept with Jack when I was pregnant with our baby, and I lost the baby because of you." Which is just so incredibly dark and heavy. But Diane is not having any of it. She is not going to stand there and let Patty play the victim. Not after Patty just slept with Jack. So Diane just looks at her. And she tells Patty that she is just as sick as she ever was. And then Diane just walks away. Because what else can she do? She is not going to have a screaming match in the lobby with a woman who is clearly unstable. But you know that interaction just fueled Diane's anger even more. Because now she is not just mad at Jack, she is reminded of all the toxic history that surrounds him. And all the crazy women from his past that just keep coming back to haunt them. Meanwhile, over at the Abbott mansion things are pretty gloomy. Jack and Kyle are hanging out, and they are talking about business. They are discussing some product at Jumbo that is not selling well. Which is hilarious because Jack's personal life is literally in flames and he is trying to focus on a bad sales quarter. But that is Jack for you. Always hiding behind the family business when his personal life gets too complicated. And then the doorbell rings. Jack goes to answer it and it is Nikki Newman. Nikki is just standing there. And Jack lets her in. Nikki immediately asks if it is just her or if everything seems to be going terribly wrong lately. Because Nikki is dealing with her own nightmare right now. Nick is spiraling into addiction. Victor is being ruthless. Her whole family is a mess. And Jack just looks at her and agrees. He tells her it is definitely not just her. So Kyle takes the hint. He heads off to the office to leave them alone. And Jack just completely deflates. He admits to Nikki that he is almost ready to give up. He is ready to stop trying to win Diane back. Because he knows he messed up too badly this time. And Nikki is actually sympathetic. Which is weird because Nikki and Diane hate each other. But Nikki is more focused on Victor right now. She starts talking about how disgusted she is with Victor. Because Nikki knows Victor released Patty to hurt Jack, Nikki is just furious at her husband for being so vindictive and cruel. So Jack decides to be a good host. He goes into the dining room to get a plate of food for Nikki because she is stressed and probably needs to eat. But right at that exact moment, Diane walks through the door. Because the universe just hates Jack right now. And Diane walks in and sees Jack and Nikki hanging out. And she just says how cozy. Just dripping with sarcasm. Because remember, Diane literally just caught Jack and Nikki in a compromising position not that long ago. And now she walks in and Jack is serving her food. Diane says she is not surprised to see him with his good friend. The air in that room is just so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife. And then Diane decides to drop her own news. She tells Jack that she just ran into Patty, and Jack immediately looks panicked. He says he is sure that was a very unpleasant encounter, because Jack knows how unhinged Patty can be. But Diane is so cold. She just looks at him and says yes it was. But you know what is even more unpleasant? The fact that you think a piece of jewelry is going to make everything okay, and she tells him she read his letter. She says the letter was beautiful, but she cannot accept the gift. And she hands the gift bag right back to him. The Josephine Baker ring and all, just hands it back. Jack is just devastated. He looks at Diane and he asks her if the day will ever come when she can forgive him. If there is any hope at all for them, and Diane does not even answer him directly. Instead, she turns her attention right to Nikki, because Diane is sick of Nikki always being around. Diane looks at Nikki and asks her if she is satisfied now. She tells Nikki that instead of paying so much attention to Diane's marriage, she should focus on what is left of her own marriage, which is a massive low blow, but Diane does not care. She is out for blood, and then Diane just turns around and leaves. She walks right out the door, and Jack just stands there holding his expensive rejected gift bag. He tells Nikki that his wife cannot even look at him. And he says he is pretty sure their marriage is officially over. And honestly, he is probably right. But the drama does not stop there. Oh no. Because across town, Michael Baldwin is having a very serious secret meeting with his wife Lauren. And Michael is terrified. He is spilling everything to Lauren about Victor's master plan. He tells her that Victor is planning to completely destroy the Summers conglomerate. He says it is obvious that Phyllis is going to go down. And Michael says he does not want Lauren to go down with her because Lauren works there. And Michael loves his wife too much to let Victor destroy her career as collateral damage. But Lauren is trying to be optimistic. She tells Michael that yes, there was a mass exodus at the company. All the department heads quit. But she says they are planning to hire new loyal employees. And she says they want to start by making Michael the head of the legal department. Which is just so naive. Lauren really thinks they can just hire new people and fix this. But Michael knows the truth. He looks at her and says that the mass exodus was only step one. Lauren gets confused. She asks if there are more steps. And Michael has to deliver the worst news ever. He says he is afraid so. Michael explains the whole sick, twisted plan. He tells Lauren that Victor has developed a new artificial intelligence program. And this AI program is designed to create completely fake evidence. Evidence that will show Phyllis illegally seized Newman Enterprises, which is just mind-blowing. Victor is literally using futuristic tech to frame Phyllis for a massive corporate crime. And Lauren is horrified. Her first instinct is to warn Phyllis, because Phyllis is her friend, but Michael stops her. He tells her they cannot just warn her. They need to convince Phyllis to give Newman back to Victor, because that is the only way Victor will call off the AI dogs. They have to make Phyllis surrender. And speaking of Phyllis, she is currently at Society, and she is completely unaware of the AI trap waiting for her. But she does run into Victoria Newman, and Victoria is just looking so smug. Victoria looks at Red and says she looks stressed, which is an understatement, but Phyllis is a fighter. She is not going to let Victoria see her sweat. Phyllis tells Victoria that Victor is not going to get away with this. She says that sucking all of her employees away is not going to bankrupt her. She is defiant. She tells Victoria that the next time she sees her father, she should tell him his grand plan failed miserably. Phyllis really thinks she has survived the worst of it. But then Christine Romolodi walks in. Yes, the bug is here. And Christine and Victoria immediately team up to mock Phyllis, which is a wild duo, but they both hate Phyllis, so it makes sense. They start arguing with Phyllis. And then Christine and Victoria walk away and head over to the bar. Christine is just fuming. She tells Victoria that what Phyllis is doing to her family is completely intolerable. Christine is so sick of Phyllis always causing chaos, and Victoria is right there with her. Victoria says they are focusing on the main goal. And then Victoria shifts gears. She tells Christine that they were planning to congratulate her, because Christine might become the new district attorney, which is a huge deal. But Victoria is Victoria. She never just gives a compliment without an ulterior motive. Victoria looks at Christine and says, "What if I told you I knew some information?" Christine is intrigued. She asks what kind of information, and Victoria just smiles that cold Newman smile. She says the kind of information that will take down Phyllis permanently. So now Victoria is trying to recruit the potential new dog to help destroy Phyllis, which is just so corrupt and amazing to watch. So Phyllis leaves society. She is probably annoyed but still feeling like she can fight back. She heads over to the Genoa City Athletic Club, but her day is about to get so much worse. Because who does she see at the GCAC? Patty Williams. Yes, Patty is just everywhere today, and Phyllis is absolutely horrified. Because Phyllis has so much trauma when it comes to Patty. Phyllis looks at her and asks who let her and her cruel evil mind back into this world. Phyllis is shaking with anger. She yells at Patty that her daughter almost died because of her, referring to Summer, and the history there is just so dark. Phyllis is not going to let Patty just walk around town like nothing happened. But Phyllis does not have time to deal with Patty right now. Because she has a meeting, she goes to meet Michael and Lauren. And this is the intervention. Michael sits Phyllis down, and he tells her that it is not just her business that is in danger. He is trying to make her understand the gravity of the situation. He tells her that he can give her a way out. He is going to pitch the idea of surrendering Newman back to Victor. And you just know Phyllis is going to hate that idea, because Phyllis never surrenders. But when she hears about the AI evidence, she might not have a choice. She is being backed into a corner by Victor, and she does not even know it yet. And then we get to the final scene, and it is the biggest shocker of them all. We go to the Newman Ranch, and Patty Williams walks in. Patty is meeting with Victor Newman. And suddenly everything makes sense. Victor looks at Patty, and he praises her. He tells her she did a good job. He compliments her for a job well done. And then Victor reaches down and he hands Patty a bag full of cash, cold hard cash. So let's just process this. Victor Newman paid Patty Williams to sleep with Jack Abbott. He paid her to ruin Jack's marriage to Diane. It was all a setup. Patty didn't just wander into Jack's life. She was a hired gun, a mercenary deployed by the mustache himself. And Patty takes the bag of cash, she looks inside, and she smiles. She says she has never seen anything more beautiful. She is just thrilled, and then she looks at Victor and thanks him. She thanks him for giving her the opportunity to prove her capabilities, which is just so twisted. Patty thinks she is proving herself as a capable person by destroying a marriage for money. And Victor is just sitting there pulling the strings like the puppet master he is. He completely destroyed Jack's life without even getting his hands dirty. He used Patty's obsession with Jack against him, and it worked perfectly. Jack's marriage is over. Diane is furious. Nikki is stressed, and Victor is just handing out bags of cash like it is nothing. So where do we go from here? Jack is broken and giving up. Diane is on the warpath and rejecting million-dollar rings. Nikki is caught in the middle of Jack and Diane's mess while trying to save her son. Phyllis thinks she can survive a corporate war but doesn't know she is about to be framed by artificial intelligence. Victoria is making shady backroom deals with the future district attorney to bury Phyllis forever. Michael and Lauren are desperately trying to save their friend from a prison sentence. And Victor is just sitting on his throne counting his victories. It is absolute chaos in Genoa City right now. And honestly, we cannot wait to see what happens next. Because this is the kind of drama that we live for. The stakes have literally never been higher, and everyone is playing dirty.